Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, welcome to the series on Demystifying Islam. The topic that has been selected for today is Reform or Revolution in the Light of Islam. This is something that I have been thinking about for long. And to me it appears that we need to stop here for a while and try to figure out whether reform is in harmony with Islam or revolution. We need to go back to Quran and find out Quran's methodology with regards to these two key terminologies, that is reform or revolution. It is interesting to see that the Arabic word for revolution, that is athawra, has never ever been used in Quran, nowhere. While the word, which is equivalent of reform, that is islah, has frequently been used. This is very enlightening, and this is a point of reflection for all of us. And we need to contrast it with our own thought patterns, with our own ways of looking, and our own perception with regards to these two words, that is reform and revolution. Reform indicates an organic change, a gradual change, a slow change, which once it takes place for a very long period of time. But revolution could be short-lived. It may come overnight, and it may disappear overnight as well. If we contrast it with the nature, then we see that the nature is on the side of reform, on the side of gradual change. For example, a human baby grows slowly, gradually. A plant grows slowly, gradually. Other creations, they come up, they become bigger, older, in due course of time. There is a process which they complete and which is expected and observed by everybody. The same methodology, the same mechanism we have to learn from nature, which is already Muslim, and we have to relate our life with that mechanism, with that process. It will be enlightening to see how many among Muslims, they have a clear idea of the Qur'anic methodology, whether it is reform or whether it is revolution. It will be good to conduct a survey and to ask some people about what they believe. What is the process that Islam advocates? Whether it advocates a revolutionary process or it advocates the process of reformation. To my understanding, it appears that there is certainly a good number of people who believe that Quran's methodology is revolutionary. Maybe a small number, but there is certainly a number. But imagine if Quran's methodology of islah, of gradual change, of slow change, through the process of education basically, is well understood, is well grasped by Muslims. It will be a very big achievement. We will see a sea change, because the upholders of the Book of Allah, they, if a big number of them, if some of them at least, are not very clear about this methodology of Quran, then imagine that the same methodology will be expressed, will be reflected in our actions, in our words. I am witness to the fact that I have been hearing the word revolution, revolution many times over from fellow Muslims. I wonder, how many times does Quran advocate this? How many times has Quran used this terminology in its 30 juz and 114 surahs? I do not find thawra, that is the equivalent of revolution, even once in the entire book. If this is not even once in the entire book, and it talks about ta'aleem, it talks about islah, it talks about reform, then how we have developed the understanding that revolution is one more option. Revolution is yet another facility that we have, which we can adopt and bring a change. Quran stands for healthy change, for permanent change, and that permanent change is a painful process. It's a time-taking process. It's a process that is completed in a time period which has been assigned for it. A baby is born in 9 months, and for the baby to be healthy, it has to take the full duration. Otherwise, we're aware of the premature deliveries. We're aware of the hazards of earlier deliveries. The laws of the nature are the same everywhere and in every field of life. What we need to is to go back and to find out those laws of nature and apply them in our own life and in our own society. There is a lot that we can learn from a very clear understanding of the concepts of reform and revolution. If we try to develop a consensus on the fact that Quran stands for reform and not for revolution, then all that we are doing, whatever we are doing, we will have to align it with this methodology of Quran. But we will try to look at it only if we are concerned about reaching out to this book as a whole, with a holistic and with the collective spirit. If we don't have concern for reaching out to the crux of this book, to the essence of this book, then it won't matter to us that how many times it uses reform and how many times it uses revolution in its terminologies. But if you don't do that, then its message, its essence will be escaping us. So as a part of Demystifying series on Islam, we will be demystifying Islam if we can clarify one thing to the people, that Islam is not for revolution, Islam is for reform. As a part of this whole exercise, we can be alert in our own environments, in our conversations, in our communications, and see how frequently we use the words reform and the word revolution. If we find that there is a conference which is going to talk about the revolutionary methodology of Quran, if there is a talk being given on the title Revolutionary Methods of Quran, there is something wrong here. There is some problem here. I have noticed that it is not that the arguments are wrong, the proofs are wrong, the evidences are wrong. Sometimes we notice that the very subjects, the very themes are wrong. So we have to move to the second stage, where we don't only scrutinize the evidences and the proofs, we have to scrutinize the subjects as well. We have to scrutinize the themes as well. One thing that we can do for now in our conversations is to be alert to the frequency of the usage of reform or revolution, and it will tell us how the situation is and what we need to do. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.